Hi, I'm Kevin McCamey, and I am so excited to be here today and share with you live this presentation about the being in pursuit of premier performance. And I'll tell you more about what that means as we go through the presentation. But let me tell you simply this: you can dramatically improve your station in life. You can be a leader in your field and also be a role model at home for your family. And we're going to show you some things today that other successful people have accomplished and how a study that was done by the High Performance Institute actually put all of that data together and boiled it down to several different deliberate habits and strategies that you can use to actually be more effective, more productive, more confident, and become more of an influential leader to the people around you. So I'm happy to get started today, and let's dive right in. So here's our agenda. We're going to talk about why most of us end up failing, the science of becoming a premier performer, my surprising results, not because I'm anything special, but just the opposite, because I have overcome several different things that I'll tell you about. And I have come to the place where I feel like I'm in the best place of my life that I've ever been. You'll understand that you can too. We'll also talk about these specific habits that high performers used to become successful and stay successful over the long term. And then we're going to introduce a quick game plan for you and offer you a giveaway at the very end. So let's get on the ball and get started. All right, so what do the world's most high-achieving people and performing people, those most successful people, they're fulfilled, what in the world are they doing differently than the rest of us? Because it's really not easy. If you just look around in your own household, in your neighborhood, in your friends, the people that you work with, you are likely to find somebody who is maybe burned out over what they've been doing. Maybe they've been checking off boxes, but they're not really feeling their life. And they're kind of just going through the motions. Or maybe they've been trying so hard, they are now completely exhausted. Maybe that's some of you. You've got so many things to do, so many demands, so many requests on your plate that you are actually exhausted and you're wondering, how in the world could I do anything else? And then maybe some of you have been in one of those two stations and now you just don't see a way out. And you finally become very discouraged, perhaps even depressed. Or maybe you just feel totally overwhelmed by all the possibilities and you have no idea which way to turn to get out of the mess you're in and move forward towards the life that you really want to lead. So if you know of someone, or if you are in one of those situations now in your life, in any area of your life, stay here because we're going to give you some great information that will help you to come out of that. Okay, so how do the world's most successful people overcome these things? Well, let's ask yourself these questions. And if you will, take out a pencil and paper or a pen and write down these questions so that you can ask yourself this at the end of the broadcast and actually go through this and really understand what your feelings are about these answers. So first of all, Ask yourself, am I accomplishing everything that I need to now? If you're like me, I was, when I heard this information for the first time, I certainly was not. How can I be more courageous and stretch myself up to the places out of my comfort zone? How can I move beyond my fixed mindset and into an abundance mindset where my future is really waiting? I'm going to tell you how I did that. And then the third question is, if I started to change, how could that actually impact me and my family, my career, and your overall life? How would it affect all those people and you? Because what we know by the study from the High Performance Institute is that probably what you're currently doing, let's say you started a new job, right? Or a new career, or you started to build a business and you worked really hard at it. You were even passionate about what you were doing, at least at first. And you focused on using your strengths, right? So you could utilize what you were good at. And you practiced over and over and over again. You're even grateful for the blessings that you did have, and you stuck to it. You didn't give up. But there are a lot of people who are in this situation right here, and they still have not gotten over the hump. They haven't gotten to that next level that they're looking for. They haven't gotten the promotion they were waiting for, or they haven't been able to break through and actually get the number of clients that they need in their business. Or perhaps they're looking to repair a relationship and they just can't seem to get connected and really feel the passion that maybe was once there in that relationship. Could be any of those things. So how can we reach that next level and still avoid the burnout and discouragement, fatigue, etc., and also be successful in our career and have time, the quality time, to devote to our loved ones and those very special relationships that mean the most to us? So, what about the science of premier performance? So, you may have heard about this book, or Brendan Burchard, who wrote the book. He's an author of several books, CEO of Growth Day and the High Performance Institute. And they did a study and they looked at these questions. He and other psychologists and people that knew exactly what they're doing at universities. And they looked at these questions specifically. So why do some people succeed more quickly? And they're able to sustain that success. Remember that long-term success we were talking about? Then of those that actually do that, why are some of them actually miserable and others are happy? And then finally, what motivates people to start that kind of success, and what keeps them in the habits and the training and getting the support that allows them to actually continue? So here is what the High Performance Institute did. They looked at all this data. They had surveys. They had one-on-one interviews, data analytics, questionnaires. They had actual coaching sessions with over 3,000 people. And they had all of these results that they put into the data, and they were able to funnel that data down to about 100 performance variables. And of those things, they said, all right, which of these things are deliberate? And we can actually observe the person doing that. and they're possibly changeable. They're flexible. They're trainable, that we can train other people how to do that. And they're also effective across several different careers and domains and industries. So the industry or your career doesn't matter. These 6 deliberate habits will pay off for you. That's what they found, because they were always common to these high performers they were studying from all that data. And they found that these specific 6 habits, which we're going to go into in depth in a minute, seeking clarity, generating energy, raising necessity, increasing their productivity, developing more influence, and most of all, demonstrating courage. Okay? So these 6 habits were common to all of those high performers. And we're going to show you that you can actually utilize these deliberate habits to make changes in your life and become the leader and role model that you want to be. So the Institute finally summarized the high performers in this way. They succeed beyond the standard. They're consistent over the long term. And they're able to be courageous and actually accomplish great things in their career, while at the same time improving their own well-being, their physical health, their mental health, and have positive relationships. So that was kind of how the Institute defined these people. The high performers just said they were fully engaged, they were joyful, and they were confident, more so than ever. And it really showed not just in how they lived their life, but in the results that they achieved, which of course is the important thing when we're talking about performance, right? What are the results that we're going to get? They also, the Institute determined, it wasn't anything related to age or gender, nationality, intelligence even, believe it or not, personality, strengths, or creativity, or how many years of experience they had, or how much money they made, right? It was more about whether those people, when they got up in the morning, they were excited to be doing what they were doing, they were passionate about it, and they always were people that asked, what is required for me to be of service here today? They were intentional. And they were asking, how can I get better? How can I keep growing? None of them ever thought that they had reached the peak. They were always in growth mode. So, would you like to be more confident and effective and be an actual influential leader? I'm sure that you would. I know I was. I wanted to find out more. And so I'm going to tell you my story now and the shift that happened for me. So I was already successful in business. I was traveling around the country. I was working with doctors and nurses and other medical professionals and training and coaching. And I found that I became bored, actually. I was so focused on my career. I was a leader in my field, but I was complacent. Even though I was meeting new people and interacting and helping people every single week, I found I had stopped growing. And because I was out traveling all the time, I was missing my life at home with my family. And it wasn't good. I was just existing. I wasn't really living. I didn't feel the pop and the vibrancy that life should have. I wasn't having a lot of fun, believe it or not. Again, like I said, I kind of got bored. And that's when it happened. I got a wake-up call because I had been focused mainly on the things that I thought were important for me and my career, and I held my identity too close to that career. Maybe that's something that resonates with some of you. And then all of a sudden, my dad passed away suddenly. And I remember being in that hospital room, not hotel room, hospital room. And the nurses came in and they wheeled his body out of the hospital room. And I was left there with his wallet and his phone and his car keys. And I looked at those things, those three things, which were so important to me at that time, because those three things actually symbolized my work, my career, my business that I was in. Before I ever left the house, I checked my three pockets to make sure I had those things with me. I had to have my wallet, my ID to travel. I had to have my keys to get in the car and go to the airport. I had to have my phone so I could reach out to the place that I was going and get directions if necessary, or find out what time to be there. I had to have my phone to try and stay in contact with my family. And I realized now that my dad was gone, he didn't take those three things with him. He left them here. And he left them here for me as a sign that they're not really that important. And I started questioning whether my career and my identity that I had so tightly tied up together was the right way to pursue my life. And I suddenly realized it wasn't. And so I started making some changes immediately. I decided I've got to set some new goals and have some new challenges for myself to actually reconnect with my wife and my kids. And we established a weekly date night with my wife that we could go out and actually talk, not just go watch a movie or watch TV together, but actually talk and relate to each other. And I had to call my kids and my grandkids and talk to them and rebuild those relationships which had faltered throughout the years. And that was important to me because I realized that when my dad passed, if there was anything that he took with him, it was the memories of the love that he had for us as his family. And I wanted to make sure that I had those valuable things, those priorities with me in my life, and make sure that I was establishing those memories with my kids and my wife and my grandkids and my friends now. Because life is precious, and sooner or later, this life ends. And that mortality motivation really sparked me, and I started living in a different way. I started following these 6 habits and being more intentional. I started journaling every day to find out what I was really feeling and what I was thinking and how I should pursue and what I really wanted out of my life. And I started setting new challenging goals and reorganizing and reprioritizing the real priorities in my life. And I found as I did that I gained all of these new insights and perspectives. and suddenly saw life in a totally different way. I was no longer bored. I had all kinds of challenges and things I was looking forward to in the future. And I kind of made a picture, if you will, and wrote out a visual and of who I wanted to be and what I was going to do. And I had that to look at every day and be intentional and start living towards that person and growing more and becoming more, becoming that leader, that real influential leader in my career and that role model for my family. So I gained these new insights. I set a new vision for my life. I improved my health dramatically, another big factor of the mortality motivation. And I started being more productive on the real priorities and had much more presence with my wife and kids. I've even had them coming to me and tell me, wow, Dad, you've changed, or honey, you sure have changed. I am so grateful of all the things and the feelings that you share with me that I used to just ignore and not even think about myself. And now I feel compelled to share these strategies and principles with you. I feel so blessed to have come to this place in my life where I feel like this is the best time in my life I have ever had. And I want you to be able to experience that too, sooner than later. So let's jump into the high performance habits and what they could mean for you in your life. So remember, how did the high performers become that way? How did they develop these habits? And how do they keep using them to be successful long term? So, what do successful people do? They get training and coaching, just like you're doing today watching this video. And when they start to get that coaching and they have those discussions and they experience that training and they learn about new skills they can develop, they start to experience breakthroughs just like I did and just like those high performers did that we told you about in the study. So the first habit is to seek clarity. You know, that vision that I was talking about, that person who is going to be me in 3 years, who was that? And I'm visualizing that and writing it down and writing down what I'm going to do and who I'm going to feel like and who I'll be with and what I'll be experiencing. That's what I'm working towards. And that's the first step, is for you to figure out, where are you headed? Where do you want to be headed? Maybe you feel like you're headed in a dead end right now, or you're already stuck there. And so, do you know who you want to be? And what would it really be like if you were that person? What would it look like for you? Maybe think about the question this way. If I could grant you just one superpower, which superpower would really benefit you the most in your life? And when you think of superpower, yes, there's flying, there's speed, like the Flash, right? There's the smart detective mind, perhaps. But what is it for you? What's the real thing, the real skill, or the real talent that you need, that if you could have that, if I could just grant it to you as a wish fulfilled, what would it allow you to do? And who would really benefit from that? So just ruminate on that a little bit and make sure you're writing these habits down and the questions so that you can think about them later, because this is going to be a continual process for you as you're growing. We don't just all of a sudden grow to the place of our potential, right? We do that over time, a little bit day by day. We take stepping stones. which grow into milestones, and those grow into cornerstones, which become the foundation of a well-lived life. Okay, the second habit is learning that you can actually generate your own energy, believe it or not. So, do you feel extraordinary levels of physical and mental and emotional energy? Think about all three of those things. And where can you improve? So, write that question down and think about that. Maybe you've always had a dream to run a marathon, or maybe even a half marathon. For me, it was to walk a 5K. And over the process of a year, I became able to walk a 5K every day and actually did it 60 days in a row. So that was a huge goal for me. And what I really realized from the benefit of doing that was at the end of that year, my doctor told me, you don't need this medication anymore. You no longer have this chronic disease that's been plaguing you. And so I got to get off of that medication because I started living more healthy. I started watching what I was eating. I exercised every day and I got better sleep. Did you realize you actually burn calories while you sleep? Who knew that? It's important to get enough sleep so that your body cycle actually is prepared for the next day with enough energy, but also it actually is burning calories and helping you to process and get rid of the things you don't need and really suck in all those nutrients that you do need from the food that you eat. So are you eating nutritious food or are you eating junk food? I had to change a lot of habits there too. But it worked for me and it can work for you. And you actually find that you can have more energy when you feel physically healthy and mentally healthy and especially emotionally healthy. The third habit is to raise your necessity. So, why is it important to accomplish these goals now, for instance? Oh, I can do that later. That's not a necessity, is it? When it becomes necessary, like for me, when I saw that my dad passed away and I knew I was the next man up, I suddenly realized it became very much more necessary for me, that mortality awareness, that I needed to do something about it now, not in 10 years. So let my story be the wake up call for you. Don't wait for your own wake up call. Get started now on what you know you need to do. And if you're having trouble doing it for yourself, ask who else could benefit from you accomplishing and achieving the next level in your life, or losing the weight, or repairing the relationship you have with a spouse or a partner. Okay. Who else is going to accomplish that? Many times we find even more necessity and purpose in helping others than we do ourselves. So you might want to write both of these questions down to make sure that you're making it necessary for you. The fourth habit is, of course, increasing our productivity. So it's great to have a vision, right? But if we don't take any steps to move forward on that vision, we're not going to get the results that we want, right? We're not going to feel the progress. And as I was stating before, the daily actions we take can be the stepping stones. and they build on top of each other. And then those stepping stones lead to milestones. So goals that you set for 90 days or for 60 days or 30 days, whatever that might be. When I was walking and I wanted to do the 5K, I set a goal of a streak for 30 days in a row. And I liked it so well, I kept doing it, ended up doing it 60 days in a row. And so that's the kind of effort, stepping stones to milestones. And then finally, at the end of that year, I reached the cornerstone of losing weight and being in better health and having the doctor take me off the medication. And that was crucial for my life improving and for me being with you here today and seeing those results for myself. And I'm not to brag that I did that. You can do much more than I did, I'm sure. But it's to let you know that, yes, you can do that. The fifth habit is to develop more influence. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, think about your family, your friends, the people that may look up to you. Maybe it's people at work who you lead. Ask yourself, how can you be a better role model for them? When you are a role model who is acting out, living out, really, those good habits and those deliberate things that will make you more successful, people look to you and they say, wow, I want to be like that. I would like to have my family look up to me as a role model. I would love to have that promotion like he got. I would love to just be loved by everybody here at work because I support and encourage other people. Whatever the case may be for you or for those people around you, how can you be a better role model for them so that they want to raise the level of their game and be on their A game all the time? And just think about the impact that you can have when you are a better role model for the people around you. Finally, the last habit is to demonstrate courage. And I have found in my life that this one really is the backbone for all the rest, because I had to step out of my comfort zone and be more confident and be able to say, okay, I'm probably going to not be very good at this for a while. I'm going to take this new step. I'm going to practice this new skill. I'm going to dive into public speaking, or I'm going to teach a class, or I'm going to train somebody else how to do better. And I've never done that before. So I am going to have to practice and be bad at it for a while before I get to be good and I master the skill, right? That's just how it works. So I had to demonstrate courage to step out of the comfort zone and into the fire, so to speak, or into an uncomfortable place that I hadn't been before. But in so doing, I kept putting in the reps and I built up my resilience muscles while doing that and found that I could achieve those things which I had denied myself for years. And you can too. So what could you really accomplish if you had the courage to risk it all and let go of your limited beliefs and step into the person that you really want to be? What could you accomplish? All right. Now you know the 6 habits. You've written them down. Hopefully you've got these questions and you can ruminate and look at these questions, review them, and write out your answers for what you want in your future life and who you really want to be. And maybe answer the question, Can I be a leader in my career? And can I really be a role model for my family and my friends? Well, of course you can. You just need to decide that you want to do that. So, what's your game plan? Well, I have a free document that I'm going to offer you, which I'll include in the links here in the video in the comments after we're all finished. And you can be thinking about, who do you really want to be? And why is that important to you? And who else is it important to? And then what a difference can you make in your own life, your family's life, someone else's life, that would impact so many people? So you've come to this broadcast, and if you've watched it this far, you probably fall into one of these categories here. You're either in the place where you're feeling the pain of discouragement, or maybe even depression, like we talked about, because you don't see the progress that you want. Or maybe you feel stuck and you're burned out. You've been trying to check off all these tasks, and you've been doing that, but you're not getting the results that you want. Maybe you're doing the wrong things. Maybe you need to switch to some tasks that'll actually move the needle forward, right? Or maybe you feel trapped. You're just overwhelmed about what to do next, and you don't know. You need a guide. You need some type of mentor to help you. Or maybe you're actually really pretty successful and you're happy where you're at, but you're not totally content. There's something inside of you saying, no, I've got a challenge. I've got a desire that I want to go further. I still want to keep growing over the next 3 years or 5 years. I've got a lot of things I would like to do. I want to retire early, or I want to start a new business, or I want to accomplish this or become the CEO of the company that I work for, or I just want to have a great family life and be really connected to the people around me. Could be any of those challenges, right? But if you're in one of these 4 categories, then I would ask you to consider, are you ready to try something different and launch a new start? Whatever you've been doing has not been working, perhaps, and you need to reset, especially if you have somebody counting on you. And would you like to get there faster instead of later? And maybe you'll need some help for that. So our giveaway today is going to be a free consultation with me, what we call a strategy session. We will look at your future and what you want together, and we can create a game plan for you so that you know what direction to go. So if you feel overwhelmed or stuck, or you're burned out, or you're in pain and discouraged, or you are already successful, but you just want to get to the next level and the level after that and be even more of the person you want to be, then I invite you to register for a free strategy session with me. And I'll put a link in the comments, but you can also take a screenshot or a picture of that QR code right there. And on your phone, just use the camera and it'll take you right to a link where you can ask for this free consultation. And in a very simple process, we'll go through that. You'll answer a quick questionnaire. We'll sit down together, either online or in person or over the phone, whatever works for you. And we'll get you started on your way to success. So thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and be on the lookout for our next live presentation coming your way soon. Take care now.